Hi, I'm Kendall with the Rawls Group. The old African proverb, "it takes a village," illustrates the essential nature of a team approach to succession planning. Succession planning is a complex endeavor. As such, it requires leveraging the expertise of a diversity of backgrounds. Collaboration and different expert opinions provides a 360-degree approach, ensuring the possible, probable, and potential issues impacting your long-term vision are addressed. To provide insight into common questions received from business owners, we are leveraging the village of our valued strategic relationships. As you listen to this episode, you'll be able to immediately apply the key takeaways, and you'll come back for more. Now we're going to focus on: what does the new normal look like for industries that rely on customer interactions?
Certainly, this pandemic has taught us a lot as we operate our companies on the way in which we have to be flexible, we have to account for changes, we have to communicate. Very often, we have to get together as our management teams to make the right decisions. First, I think that every company should take all that they've put together over the last 3 or 4 months into some type of pandemic policy, to have that in place, to formalize it, and to be ready for some future pandemic, some type of policy that shows us how to approach the issues with our employees, with our clients, and with our vendors. So I think that's very important. It should be part of employee manuals, part of your operating manuals at your companies. Two, certainly each month as this is developed, as we look at our relationships we have with our vendors, our landlords, our customers, we've had to sit down with a lot of them and negotiate, try to figure out the new norm based upon the change in consumer behavior, our need for product, the need for services, the need for supplies, the occupancy of where we have our business. So I think going forward, you'll want to look at the way in which you agree to documentation that governs these relationships differently, to certainly make sure you put everything in those documents to account for a potential future pandemic. So, and then finally, we've all seen the effect of this pandemic on revenue, on expenses, and on operations. And I believe going forward, we may all prepare for each year a little differently, budget a little differently, potentially create reserves, and realize the changes that we have to make as a pandemic develops. And so those are probably the three most important policies, changes, budgeting that I would put into effect for a company from a legal and accounting perspective.
Well, personal interaction is going to continue. There's certain elements of the consumer activity where they want to deal with a person. They do not want to deal with a document or just a screen. They want an individual giving them an explanation of how things work, hands-on explanation of how things work. They want an individual giving them assurance. They want an individual giving them, in some cases, this is where we call it salespeople, encouragement that this is the right product for them. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. The only question is how and where. And that's for you as a business leader to try to throw your imagination, throw your thinking at this question, looking at your business, looking at your industry, look at what your association is talking about. But I think that you're going to have to be light on your feet. You have to listen to your customers. And you're going to have to hire people who are doing this interaction with your customers who have more diverse skills. Hiring just a pure salesman in the future is probably not going to work. They're probably going to have to know a lot more about the mechanics of that product. They're also going to have to know probably more about the documentation to make the sale, and even be walking notaries. They're going to have technology on them where they can answer the question, whether they're standing in your customer's parking lot, whether they're standing in a driveway or in the kitchen. your salespeople, your customer relations people are going to have more diverse skills to back up their ability to relate to their customer, to your customer, and to effectively, efficiently, and profitably move your products.
Thank you to our strategic partners, The Village, for participating and sharing your perspective. If you have a burning question you want to discuss with an expert, please feel free to submit it via the Ask an Expert link featured on the page. Continue listening to this series now or come back later for more. Each question featured may want you to learn something new.